Hello, explorers of the unknown. Welcome to Light and Shadows Global. Imagine the scene. You are sitting comfortably in your armchair, a cup of tea by your side, ready to watch your favorite show on TV. A common scene, one that repeats in millions of homes every night. Now, imagine that this scene freezes. Time passes. Outside, the world changes. Technology advances. Generations come and go. History is written. And you remain there, motionless, forgotten. How long can someone disappear inside their own home before the world notices their absence? A month? A year? How about 42 years? This isn't the premise of a movie. This is the true and disturbing story of Hedviga Golik and the macabre secret that was locked away for more than 4 decades in an ordinary apartment in the heart of a bustling city. Our story takes us to Zagreb, the capital of Croatia. In a residential building like so many others, the residents of number 13, Gukashiva Street, lived their lives, unaware that above or below them, time had stopped. In May 2008, bailiffs and the police, acting on an order to take possession of the apartment, which now belonged to the city, had to break down the door. What they found inside wasn't just dust and neglect, it was a portal to the past. The first thing that hit them was the air, still, dense, heavy with the weight of decades of silence. The light filtering through the dirty window revealed the scene covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs that stretched like a veil over every object. It was a simple apartment, with furniture that was once fashionable, but now looked like relics from a forgotten museum. And there, in the center of the living room, was the most shocking scene. Sitting in an old armchair, facing a black and white television, was the figure of a skeleton, perfectly positioned, as if the person had just fallen asleep while watching a program. Beside it, on a small table, a cup of tea, also covered in the dust of time, waiting for a sip that never came. The police were perplexed. There were no signs of a break-in, no signs of violence, just stillness. An investigation began, but the main mystery wasn't what happened, but when, and most importantly, how. How did no one notice for so long? The identity of the remains was quickly confirmed. They belonged to Hedviga Golik. Records show that she was born in 1924, which meant she would have been around 42 years old when time stopped for her. Investigators began to dig into the past, trying to piece together the puzzle of her life. They discovered that Hedviga was last seen by her neighbors in 1966. She had reportedly told them she was moving to live with relatives in another region. And after that, silence. Hedviga was described as a quiet and reclusive woman. She didn't seem to have many close friends or family who frequented her apartment. She became a shadow in her own building. The neighbors at the time believed she had truly left. As the years went by, the older residents moved away or passed on. New tenants arrived, and the story of the empty apartment became just a footnote. A place that had been vacant for a long time. No one questioned it. No one knocked on the door. Life simply went on around that silent sanctuary. The question that echoes in everyone's mind is, how can a human being be erased from existence in plain sight? First, the neighbors. The explanation that she was moving was enough to quell any initial curiosity. In a busy building, the absence of a quiet person can easily go unnoticed. Modern urban life often isolates us from those who live just a few feet away. Second, the bills and mail. The investigation suggests that in 1960s Yugoslavia, the system was different. It's likely the apartment was her property, with no monthly rent payment that would flag her absence. Utility bills, like water and electricity, may have simply been cut off due to non-use, without raising a major alarm. The mail stopped arriving, and the forgotten mailbox just collected dust, along with the rest of the apartment. And what about family? It seems Hedviga had little to no contact with distant relatives. In an era without social media, without cell phones, a person could simply vanish from their social circle without an alert being raised. She fell through the cracks of the system, through the crevices of society. The door being locked from the inside confirmed she was alone in her final moments. Hedviga Golik was not the victim of a violent crime. She was the victim of something perhaps more terrifying: complete and utter forgetfulness. The case of Hedviga Golik is more than a morbid curiosity. It is a dark mirror reflecting one of the greatest crises of our society: loneliness. Her story forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. In a world with billions of people, connected by an invisible web of technology, we have never been so alone. We live in concrete hives, surrounded by others, yet fundamentally isolated in our own lives. Hedviga's skeleton, sitting in front of her TV, is a powerful symbol. The television, which promised to connect the world, was her last companion. She became a spectator of the world, until the world completely stopped noticing her. Similar cases, though not as extreme, continued to appear in the news. People found in their homes weeks, months, sometimes years later. Each story is an echo of Hedviga's, a reminder that community and human connection are fragile and need to be nurtured. Apartment 13 on Gushishiva Street was eventually cleaned and renovated. A new family may live there today, unaware of the story frozen in time that those walls witnessed. But the story of Hedviga Golik remains. It haunts us not with terror, but with profound sadness, with the realization that an entire life can end in silence, and the only sound to mark its passing is the hum of an old TV until it too fell silent. What do you think this story tells us about the world we live in? In today's world, with all our technology, would a case like Hedviga's be impossible? Think about your neighbors, the quiet people in your building or on your street. The light of attention might be the only thing that prevents new shadows from emerging. If you were intrigued by this dive into the gray areas of human existence, don't forget to subscribe to Light and Shadows Global and hit the notification bell. We have many more mysteries to explore together. Until next time, stay vigilant.